Yeah, actually, I mean, I'll tell you the story of how I dropped out of college. Can I piss real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. No worries, man.
1 sec.
Go ahead. We're right here.
Sorry, I drank a bunch of water.
I just want to point out Dan Bilzerian and I wear the same pants. Both wearing camo pants. I think he deserves them more than me, though. He went to Hell Week. I've just hidden from animals
3 times.
Yeah, but my pants are they're fake. I mean, I just bought them on Amazon. They're not like real camo either. It's not like Kuyu or First Light or anything. What a fucking character, though, huh? That's crazy shit, right?
Shit.
Like a lot of people hate on that dude. I've met him a couple of times, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this with him. He seems like a super nice guy, but every time I've talked to people about him, there's like, fuck that guy, fuck that guy, fuck that guy.
Easy to hate. There's a lot to easy to be.
Of course, of course. I mean, he's like I mean, the fact he's not paying those girls, I find that suspicious. Do you find that suspicious? You don't?
Not really. I mean,
why are they there then?
Because they can get.
They don't have shit to do. Don't they have jobs?
Nah. They're hot chicks.
Probably he loans them money.
Nah,
maybe let's leave some cash around.
Could be their manager. They're getting good gigs out of it, you know.
I'm sure they're getting good gigs out of it. I mean, look, what the fuck's that guy's name? Corey Feldman. He's got Feldman's Angels or whatever the fuck that is, right?
Hugh Hefner had the Hef's chicks. They had their own, like show for a while.
Well, he had to pay those girls. We're talking about Hefner.
Yeah, they're all playmates.
See, but that was sad to me. That was more sad to me.
What's
like,
that?
The Hefner thing. Like, I could see chicks wanting to bang you. Handsome guy, thick beard, built. You know, military man, got a lot of guns. That makes sense. The Hefner thing was always like, oh, those poor girls. Well, I have daughters, and I would think about some poor girl banging Hugh Hefner and just going, oh.
Yeah, but it's not just him. It's kind of like all these fashion guys.
Fashion guys?
Yeah, like I mean, there's Paul Marciano. I mean, he bangs every chick that's in Guess.
I don't. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of. I mean, they set it up, right? Like I mean, my whole thing is kind of like life setup, right? So you like set up your life to where you don't really have to work for what you want, you know.
Right.
Like, so, pussy, for instance, like if you set it up correctly, like I mean, if you buy a big brand or a modeling agency or whatever it is, and you're providing these girls with a career, like for instance, let's use Hugh Hefner. So if you become a playmate, you're guaranteed $25,000. I mean, this is back in the day, right?
Right.
This is like 10 years ago when Playboy was hot or whatever, or 20 whatever. So now they're getting $1,000 for appearance. Before they were getting whatever, but now they won't. You can't even show up for less than $1,000. So you're guaranteed more money there. Now you have a title. As far as modeling, like you're just going to book higher end jobs. There's the Playboy events. So it's kind of like, it's like you fuck this guy, you become a playmate, and now you like have a career.
Oh, I get it. It makes sense. And I mean, it makes sense. But the factor that's missing is the fact that you were talking about before. Like, you're not really into fucking girls that aren't into you. Like, well, that's completely out of the question.
Yeah.
When you're a skeleton.
Yeah. When you're a skeleton, yeah, but I mean, when you're a skeleton, like, what are you gonna do?
You're balling. You just take Molly and fucking throw down those Viagra's and get the party started. Who gives a shit? Throw that money out. You can't spend it when you're dead.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
when I'm 70, I'm probably gonna be less picky, So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I mean, like I said, it's. Yeah, I mean, it's...
You go for a hot 50-year-old.
But, who knows? Some of those girls might be into it because he's iconic and,
for sure.
It's like a celebrity thing.
Yeah.
Like, celebrity is another crazy thing. I mean, I've said it to my buddy. I'm like, money maybe brings 5 or 10x girls, like, if you use it. And I'm not talking about using it in the sense of just paying them. I'm saying, like, set up your life to where, like, you have a nice life and there's cool shit going on, parties, whatever. And then the fame, I think it's like 100x. I think it's like 100 times.
Well, for you, it's very interesting because you're a guy that's just come into this just a few years ago, 4 years ago. So you were already a man in his 30s and all this happened and then boom, you become famous. So you've got a good perspective on it. No. I think for people looking at it on the outside, like, I don't think any of us could understand what it'd be like to be Drake. You know, I've heard that Drake has parties at his house. I know a dude who lives near Drake, and he complains about the fucking parties. And I guess parties are so crazy that the neighbor complains, so Drake bought his house. Drake's like, fuck it, I'll just buy your house, man.
Yeah.
He has girls, they meet at one place, then they get in a bus, and then the bus comes to Drake's house.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's got it. Yeah, he definitely has it on another level.
He's super balling. He's
sure.
super balling,
Yeah.
you know? You know me, I'm fucking saddled down. I'm married. I got kids. I got daughters too, dude. I see all this stuff. I have to watch from afar and go, wow, look at this action. Look at all this craziness happening. Look at this wild life. Just a completely different kind of life. But to be a guy like you, it's very interesting because not only are you famous, you're famous in a really confusing way. Mm-hmm. You're famous just for being a baller. Like 100%. Like,
that's kind of crazy, right?
You didn't write a book. You're not in any movies. You don't sing any songs. You're not telling jokes. You're just balling out of control. You're balling so hard that you've become famous. You're way more famous than me. I mean, what did you say you have? How many Instagram followers you got? What is it?
It's like 19.
19?
I think the total is like 30 something.
I have 1.
Yeah.
I have 1.5 on Instagram. I have 2 on Twitter. I've been on TV for 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. It's an interesting kind of fame. It's a very different kind of fame.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it kind of hit me because I was in Cannes and I was over there, and this is France. I mean, they don't even speak English a lot of these places, and I mean, I think, I fucked 16 girls in 12 days. And I remember because I fucked a girl without talking to her. And that was when I knew I made it. Yeah, because she didn't speak English. And I also, I just kind of, wanted to, just see if I could do it. You know, I just, wanted to see if I could actually have sex with a girl without speaking to her at all. It was kind of awkward because, there was times when I wanted to say something or, there was a question asked or whatever, or it was, in the middle of sex. Normally, I'll say, talk dirty or something. But, I made a point to be a fucking mute, right? And I actually, pulled it off. And I was like, wow, this shit is real, you know? And
wow.
And the time that I really saw it, I was in Canada, but it was before the no talking thing. I was at some restaurant, and Ron Perlman's manager came over to me, and
Ron Perlman, the actor.
Yeah.
What's he in? Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Hellboy. And
Hellboy. Okay.
He's done some real shit. You know, he's like a real dude.
Yeah.
So he come over and he's telling me about this new movie that he wants to do, and there's there's a dad and there's a son, or a grandfather's son and a dad, and they're all they were all in the military in different wars, and he was talking to me about maybe playing the son, and we're having and I was interested in it. Because I'd done a little bit of acting up until then, and so I was kind of trying to check it out. And so I remember it was every 30 seconds or a minute somebody would come up and ask me for a picture. And after the 20th person, somebody came up and was like, "Oh, Ron, I'd love a picture with you." And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. He stood up and he goes, "Oh, you want a picture with me? Who the fuck am I? You sure you don't want a picture with this guy?" And he was kidding. But I was just wow, this is so fucking crazy. Now here's a guy that's a super successful actor who's been in big TV series. And all these people are asking to take a picture with me. And I was just wow, this is so fucked. But it was real. I was just wow, this is a real thing. This isn't just numbers on the internet. This is I'm in a foreign country and I got all these fucking people coming up, I was dumbfounded.
Have you ever read that Thoreau quote, "Most men live lives of quiet desperation"?
Yeah, I actually quoted that on one of my pictures.
Oh, it's a great quote.
The mass of men, or something along the lines of the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation.
Yeah, something along those lines. That quote, I love that quote.
He's got a lot of great ones.
He's a brilliant guy. But that quote is one of the reasons why I think your Instagram and everything is so popular, is because there's a lot of people out there that are stuck in cubicles or they're stuck in jobs that they don't want to be there. They don't want to be doing what they're doing. They're looking at their resources. It's so small. They're tired all the time. They get done from work. They don't have any energy to do anything else. They're saddled down with some relationship that's probably not optimal. They're getting yelled at. They're fucking. It's not going well. It's not going well. There's not a lot of joy. Yeah. And then they go on your Instagram and you're fucking jet skiing and late meet and it's all the shooting guns and your underwear. And it's it looks so fun. You know, and
yeah, I mean, and I try and be authentic. You know, another one of his quotes, you know, rather than love, rather than fame, rather than money, give me truth. And I like that.
You can
one.
have all those, though. Look, you got it all. You got truth, you got fame,
well,
you got
truth
love,
is the
you got
rare
money.
one. You know, that's the rare one in LA.
Well, it is rare because it's difficult to pull off because most people are not really comfortable with who they are. So instead of fixing that, they just kind of pretend. You know, and like, look, that's what politics is. Yeah. That's what a business is. When you put that fucking stupid tie on and you got those slippery shoes with the tassels on them, and, you know, pretending that you really talk like that. Yeah. You know, and you're talking about dividends and making it, well, we can make this work and let's touch base on Monday and, hey, great to talk to you. And like, shut the fuck up. It's
the
all
political correctness, the fucking, you know, pleasantries, just the bullshit. You know, that's what I wanted to just kind of get rid of. You know?
Well, I had a conversation with someone about, you know, people that have a lot of money and ballers, and someone goes, oh, that seems like such an empty life. And I don't know if we were talking about you specifically, but you're like a perfect example of it. I'm like, but here's my point. I'm defending you. I'm like, what's empty about it? Looks like he's having fun. Like, what's so great about showing up to an insurance company every day and putting in your work? Like, yeah, look, it's very admirable to provide for your family. It's very admirable to put in hard work when you don't want to and get it done. But there's nothing wrong with figuring out a way to not do that either. You know, just because you got stuck in some sort of a weird situation where you have to fucking grind it out at some lumberyard every day doesn't mean that a guy like you who's just got some crazy life that he's living where he figured out a way to make a bunch of money gambling poker, playing card games, like it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I look at all your shit, I don't see any victims. I don't see anything wrong. I see you having a bunch of fun, and I see a bunch of girls that are laughing. They seem to be having a bunch of fun. You're flying to Italy. You're doing all this crazy shit. I don't see anything wrong. But yet people get mad and people hate. And when I have conversations with people, I'm like, what is shallow about all these experiences? Like, what is so awful?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of girls have really benefited. You know, I've like built some careers. Like, you know, Lindsay Pellis, when I started dating her, she had 100,000 followers. She bumped up to 1.6 million in 3 weeks, and now this chick's making $400,000 or $500,000 a year posting pictures on Instagram and Snapchat. I mean, just think about that for a second. Like, she's making 4 times as much as a doctor or a lawyer when they get out of college, and forget about all their debt that they have. You know, let's just say they come out of college with no debt. She's still making 5 times more money than them at 4 years younger.
Well, also the amount of fucking time they have to spend if you're a doctor or a lawyer, not just going through medical school, not just going through your residency, but working, constantly working.
And she's got to post a couple pictures. Yeah, sit on a couch, post a few pictures.
Suck her fingers.
Here's my tea, you know. Like,
her ass up in the air, high heels. Woo! It's a beautiful world. The world of social media is a fascinating world, man. Because, like, speaking for me personally as a comedian, before social media, I used to have to do so much work. I used to have to get up early in the morning and do radio shows before gigs. I used to have to do morning TV. You'd have to do interviews with... You know, I'd do an interview with some newspaper reporter. That guy did not want to fucking talk to me and give a shit about me. And I'd try to have fun with it, and maybe he would try to have fun with it. But for the most part, it was nonsense. Yeah. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Social media's changed.
It's access. It's just pure, you know, access. And it's actually fucked it up, honestly, for a lot of these girls now because... they don't want to go to the clubs. Like, they don't need to go to parties to meet celebrities anymore. They could just DM them. Like, and then you have all these, you know, rich guys that are just having their, you know, their pussy coordinator, you know, message all these girls.
They have a coordinator? Oh, who has a pussy coordinator?
It's so crazy, bro. You have no idea. Like, now these girls are getting booked out. They're getting paid, you know, $5,000, $10,000 to just go on a vacation. Some of them don't even have to sleep with any of the guys. I mean, it's just like...
That seems like you would never get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, and from these girls' point of view, you can't really blame them. I mean, it's like, fuck, if I was one of these girls and I could travel the world on a private jet and do all this other, you know, crazy shit for free, and it's just, I mean, I
wouldn't blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. As long as, you know, as long as nothing awful's happening.
Yeah.